Hey readers, yesterday we read an article called Old Zoos and New Zoos, and as we were reading we saw some unfamiliar vocabulary words like menageries and confined. Today I want to talk to you about how sometimes when we're reading Just Right books we're going to come across unfamiliar vocabulary words. And one thing I want you to know is that good readers don't just skip those difficult words. They use strategies to help them determine the meanings of those words. What are some strategies that you already use to help you determine the meaning of unfamiliar words that you don't know? Take a few minutes to turn and talk with a partner. What are some of the strategies that you've learned in first and second and third grade to help you learn the meanings of words that you don't know when you're reading? Okay, readers, let's bring it back together. Sometimes authors give us what are called author's cues on words' meanings. It's kind of like a clue, but they're a lot more direct than, say, a context clue. And with an author's cue, the author tells you exactly what a word means, but you got to know how to look for these cues. Let me show you some examples of author's cues. I pulled a couple of sentences from a book about bats. In the first example, the sentence says, "Most bats have one pup, a baby bat, a year." Here's how this author's cue works. The author gives you the unfamiliar word, pup, followed by a comma, and then the definition, a baby bat. As a reader, I know that when I see the word pup followed by a comma, the author is about to give me the meaning of the word within this context. In the next example, the author also gives us a cue, a comma, to pay attention for the meaning of an unfamiliar word. The sentence says, "Some bats go into torpor, or short-term hibernation." The author gave the unfamiliar word, followed by a comma, the word or, and the definition. The word torpor means short-term hibernation. In this third example, the author gives us the definition in the sentence before the unfamiliar word. It says, "Bats locate food using sound waves." This is called echolocation. The unfamiliar or important word was echolocation. The definition of echolocation is using sound waves. The author stated the definition in the first sentence and then gave us the unfamiliar word in the second sentence using the phrase, "this is called." In this last example, the author doesn't directly tell us what the unfamiliar word, habitats, means, but gives us an example of what habitats could be. The sentence says, bats have different habitats, such as caves and trees. The author stated the unfamiliar word, habitats, followed it by a comma, the words such as, which tells me that the following words are going to be examples. I know that caves and trees are places where bats live, so the word habitats probably means the places where an animal like bats live. Let's try this strategy out. You should have a sheet of notebook paper with you on the carpet. With your notebook paper, make a T-chart. On the left side of the T-chart, write unfamiliar word, and on the right side of the chart, write definition. As I read the text today, I'd like you to write down the words that I'm unsure about. Then use the author's cues to write down the meaning in the text. Here's what your paper should look like. Notice that the holes are on the left. Your name should be at the top left. The paper is divided down the middle with the word unfamiliar word on the left and the word definition on the right. I've also included some lines to separate the different sections of my chart. This will help me keep my work tidy and organized. I'll give you a few seconds to set your paper up. Okay, here we go. This book is called Learning from Fossils by Anne Finn. Do you like learning about dinosaurs and other animals from long ago? Then you probably know what fossils are. Fossils are bones and other remains of animals that lived long, long ago. Remains are parts of animals that are left after the animals die. Scientists study fossils. This helps scientists learn what these animals looked like, where they lived, and what they ate. Scientists find new fossils and learn information all the time. I'm looking at that second highlighted word, remains. It says fossils are bones and other remains of animals that lived long, long ago. Remains are parts of animals that are left after the animals die. I wonder what remains means. Jot your thoughts for remains on your chart. Dinosaurs in cold places. That's funny. Usually when I think about dinosaurs, I think about them in hot deserts or jungles. For a long time, scientists thought dinosaurs needed to live in hot places to keep them warm. They did not think that dinosaurs could live in cold places. Then about 50 years ago, scientists found dinosaur footprints in the Arctic. That's one of the coldest parts of Earth. That was the first evidence or proof that dinosaurs lived in cold places. So dinosaurs could have lived all over Earth, not just in the hot places. Evidence. According to this sentence, what does evidence mean? That was the first evidence or proof that dinosaurs lived in cold places. Scientists also found dinosaur fossils in Antarctica. That is another very cold place. The fossils were from a very big dinosaur called Cryolophosaurus. A big dinosaur like this needed to be a fierce or scary hunter. It needed to eat other animals to stay alive. Scientists are still looking for more clues or proof about what other animals Cryolophosaurus ate. Fierce. I've heard that word used to describe lions and tigers and sharks. It says a big dinosaur like this needed to be a fierce or scary hunter. According to the author's cues, what does the word fierce mean? Let's see how you did. Check your answers with the partner nearby you on the carpet. Give the substitute the thumbs up when you're finished discussing your charts. Okay, let's take a look all together. Here's the first sentence we examined. It said, fossils are bones and other remains of animals that lived long ago. Remains are the parts of animals left after they die. The author told us the meaning of the word remains in the same sentence as the word remains. Remains are parts of animals left after they die. I'm thinking maybe that includes hair, bones, and I've even heard about scientists studying dinosaur poop. Those are all remains or parts of animals left over after they die. Let's take a look at the second sentence. It says, that was the first evidence or proof that dinosaurs lived in cold places. The important word in this sentence was evidence. The author followed it by a comma, which signaled to me, the reader, that the author was about to tell me the definition of evidence. In this sentence, evidence means proof. And our last example. It says a big dinosaur like this needed to be a fierce or scary hunter. Like the second example, the author followed the important word fierce by a comma, then the word or, and the definition of fierce. Fierce means scary. That makes sense. Tigers and lions and sharks are all pretty scary hunters, so if this dinosaur is fierce, it must also be pretty scary. Today and everyday readers, I want you to remember that good readers use authors' cues to help them determine the meaning of unfamiliar words. We don't just skip it and read on. We think about, what are some clues or cues the author gave me to help me better understand these words? That will help us better understand the text that we're reading. Now it's your turn. Please make sure that you follow all of these directions. You're going to choose a partner. Please take one article to read with your partner. You'll find 3 words that are unfamiliar or important to you. Use author's cues or context clues to solve those words or to determine their word meanings. You'll create a T-chart on the back of your notebook paper with the vocabulary words and their meanings. You can set it up just like the one that you did for the dinosaurs text. When you're finished, turn it into the substitute. Please read silently and independently in a place of your choice. Make a wise choice where you sit in the classroom today, or the substitute will help you make one. Feel free to jot any unfamiliar words or paraphrase your thoughts as you read today. See you soon, readers.